Compound interest. Okay. Now the formula for compound interest is A equal P, okay, 1 plus R power of N. Okay. Now A is the amount of money at the end of the period. Okay, we call future values. Okay. P is the amount of money that you invest. Okay, principal. Okay. Now R is the interest rate. Okay, it can be 5%, 2%, 3%, and so on. Okay, now N. Okay, now do not confuse. Okay, N is period. Okay, is time. But in this case, N is the number of time. Okay, it's compound. Okay, if you like, it's amount of time. Of time that the bank pay you. Okay, so it can be 1 year can pay compound twice, that means it give you 2 times, or compound quarterly means they pay you 4 times in a year, right? Okay, let's go. Let's say, for example, okay, let's say if you put, let's say if you invested, okay, $5,000 in the bank. Okay, let's say if you invested $5,000 bank, and the bank give you, let's say 5%, okay, per annum, which means per year. Okay, per annum means per year this case, and it's compounded. Okay, let's say compounded, let's say yearly. Okay, to start with first. Okay, let's say yearly. Okay, for, let's say for 3 years. Okay, so what that means is you put in a bank for $5,000 and the interest rate is 5% per year, and you leave it there for 3 years. Okay, so the bank pay you every year, compound yearly. All right, so let's organize this first. Now step number 1, you got to figure out each of those. Let's say P is 5,000. I got P. Yeah, P is 5,000. That's how much I put in the bank, or you put in the bank. And R is interest rate is 5% because they pay you yearly, so therefore 5% per year. So every time they pay you 5%. And you live there for 3 years, so they pay you once a year. Okay, and then 3 years they pay you 3 times. So I just write in here. So P, okay, R, and then N. So which is N is 3 years because they pay you once a year. In 3 years they pay you 3 times. So which is use the formulas. Okay, I just put that on here. So now I always start with the rule. Okay, P 1 plus R power of N. Now this time P is replaced with 5,000. That's how much you put in. And 1 plus R. R is 5%, which is 5 over 100. Okay, power of N. This case N is 3. Okay, so if you type that in your calculator, okay, you will get, okay, 638.1.41, okay, dollars in front, of course. So that's how much you have at the end of 3 years. Okay, so you put the $5,000 in the bank, and then at the end of 3 years you will have a balance of $6,381.40. Okay, that's how much you have. Remember, that's not how much you earn in interest. Okay, now if to find out the interest, you need to find out the difference between $6,381.41 with the $5,000. So the difference is $1,381.41. That is your interest. Okay, let's move on. Second one. Now this time what happened is let's say what happened is you put the same amount. Let's say you put the same amount, let's say $5,000 in the bank this time. Okay, let's say $5,000, okay, in the bank. Okay, and then the bank is pay you for 5% per year, which is, I just write this first. Okay, I just quickly summarize. So 5% per year, okay, per annum mean per year. Okay, and this time, okay, it's compound. Okay, sorry, this year is compounded, okay, half yearly. Okay, so half yearly. Okay, Apologies, run out of space. Okay, now compound half yearly. Do you know what that means? That means they pay you every 6 months, half yearly. Okay, that's what that meant. So please remember that for me. And then you leave it there for 5 years. Okay, for five years. Okay, so let's recap. You put $5,000 in the bank and you get the interest rate of 5% per year, and they compound it half yearly for 5 years. So you live there for 5 years. So the rule is A equal P 1 plus R power of n. Okay, that's the formulas. Now, before you substitute all these numbers in, you have to organize sort of information first. So let's say P, okay, I write down, that's what you do. So P is $5,000, correct? P is principal, amount that you invest. R is 5% per year, 5% per year, but the problem is they don't pay you every year. They pay you every 6 months, half yearly. So 1 year, they pay you twice. So they don't pay you 5% every time they pay you. If they pay you 5%, another 5%, another half yearly, that become paid 10% per year. So you can't do that. So what you do, you go 5% every year, so you pay twice a year, so you divide into two, okay? So you become 2.5%. So every time they pay you 2.5%. And 1 year they pay twice, so that becomes 5%. Is that clear? And then N, okay? N is number of times they pay you, okay? Because 1 year, okay, they pay you twice, because every 6 months they pay you. So 1 year they pay you twice, okay, twice a year. But because you live there for 5 years, okay, so that becomes 2 times 5, so which is 10. Is that okay? So now I got all this information, so now just substitute in. P is $5,000. 1 plus R, remember R this time is 2.5%, okay? Power of N, which is N is 10, all right? So you just type that in your calculator, okay? So you should get, okay, so you should get, let's say how much you get. So if you use your calculator, you type that in, so you should get, let's say 6,000, okay, 442 cents. Okay, so that's what you get because, okay, because you put 5,000 in and they only pay you 5% per year and they compound half yearly. So remember, the rate need to be changed so as the N. N is number of times they pay you. So they change both of them. Okay, so that's how much you have. Now, just in case if they don't ask for future value, they ask for interest. So remember that for me, the difference between 6,442 cents and 5,000 is your interest. Okay, you didn't earn 6,400, you earn only 1,442 cents. Okay, that's your interest, right? Let's do one more. Thank you for watching again. Okay, now look, let's say you invest the same amount. Okay, this time the same amount. Let's say $5,000 again. Okay, you invest $5,000 in the bank, and at the rate of 5%, okay, per annum. All right. So and it compounded quarterly. Okay, let's say CP quarterly, compounded. Okay, quarterly. Let's say quarterly. Okay. Now for 5 years again, because you live it there for 5 years. Okay. Now, let's write the rule down. A, okay, is P 1 plus R power n. That's the rule. Okay. Now we're going to work out, okay, how much you earn in interest. Okay. So let's work it out. Before you do anything, you have to think a bit. Okay. Work out all these values first. These are P, R, and N. All right. So let's say P is 5,000. P is how much money you put in, okay, or invest. So you invested 5,000 in the bank, okay. And then the interest rate is 5% per year, okay. But because they don't pay you every year, they pay you quarterly. Quarterly means every year they pay you 4 times, okay, 4 times, because one year you got 4 quarters, Okay, so therefore quarterly. So that means they pay you 4 times. So you R, the interest rate, is you must divide by 4. Okay, so therefore, if you divide by 4, okay, you will get 1.25% instead. Okay, so 1.25%. So every time they pay you 1.25%, but in a whole year, it will add up to 5%. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, R is number of times they pay you. Agree? So 1 year, they pay you 4 times. Okay, compound quarterly. So they pay you 4 times in a year. But then because you leave it for 5 years, you invest it for 5 years, so they will pay you 5 times 4. Okay, so or 4 times 5. So they pay you 20 times. Okay, in 5 years. So now I got all the information I need. So now I just substitute all these in. So you got 5,000. All right. 1 plus R, which is 1.25%. Okay, and power of N. N is 20. See? So you will have, okay, at the end of 5 years, yeah, you will have 641, okay, 0.1861 and so on, right? Now remember, because it's money, we have to round to the nearest cents, okay, rounding to the nearest cents. So which is, you will have $6,410.19, okay, because 6 is greater than 5, so 19 cents. Now remember, what is the interest do you earn? Okay, not how much you have at the end, we're asking for the interest. So the interest, how much? That's right, because $6,410.19 minus 5,000, because you put $5,000 in the bank, and then at the end of 5 years, you got $6,410.19. So the difference is your interest that you earn. So interest you will receive, I just write it down. Okay, so $6,410.19, you minus $5,000, right? So you will have the interest of 600 and sorry, not 600. If you minus that, my apologies, you got 1,000. Beg your pardon. So you get 1,000. Okay, because you minus that, so you get 1,000. I can't write on it. Okay, look, 1,000. Okay, $410.19. Right? So that's what you get. So 19 cents. Okay? So if you put 5,000 in the bank, and then at the end of the 5 years, you will earn $6,410.19. So your interest will be $1,410.19. Thank you for watching.